Welcome to the Rewards Master. Today I'm continuing with my series here at the end of 2024, where I ask on all the cards that I use pretty frequently in my wallet, will I keep or cancel? And today we're going to look at the Delta Sky Miles Reserve card. It is a big annual fee card with a lot of big benefits, but it may work for some and not for others. So if you would, hit the like and subscribe button and we'll dive right in. I've had the Delta Reserve card a couple of different times. I had it back in 2023. I downgraded at the beginning of this year down to the Delta Gold card because I just didn't think it was going to continue to work for me. But then they changed up all the parameters of how you achieve status, and I thought, well, so they sent me an upgrade offer. So to get some Sky Miles, I upgraded back to the Delta Reserve. Now, when it comes to the benefits of the Delta Reserve card, there's a lot of them. I mean, as far as high-level airline cards, this is one of the best with the easiest means to get all of your money back and even more. Now, it's not my favorite. I also fly on American, and I have their Executive World Elite MasterCard that gives access to the Admirals Clubs. I love that one too. So it's really hard between these two, but because I slightly prefer American for reasons I'll probably outline in certain points in this video, I would keep the World Elite MasterCard over the Delta Reserve. But if you're just looking apples to apples, which one's actually a better card, and not factoring in whether American or Delta for your particular situation is a better airline and a better reward system and a better loyalty program, then, I mean, hardly anything gets better than the Delta Reserve. So when it comes to the benefits, you pay $650 a year, which is a lot of money on an airline card. However, I mean, when you start looking at the potential payback on this card, it's just gigantic. The first thing it gives you a $200 Delta Stays credit. That is a hotel credit, and it is super easy to use. You just have to go through the Delta Stays. That's Delta's kind of travel portal for hotels. And you go through that, it's easy to get your money back. 200 bucks. I mean, I've done it, super simple. So there's 200 back of the 650. And then you look at things like, well, it gives a $240 Resi credit. This one will be kind of, you know, hit or miss depending on people and where they live and what kind of restaurants they eat at. It only works for me because in the community where I live like in a small to mid-sized city area, and we have one Resi restaurant, one. But it's a restaurant that I like to eat at, and I ate at anyway before I even had this card. So, kind of works out good. You don't have to make a reservation, you just pay for it with your card. It's 20 bucks a month. Now, over the course of this year, I think I used it, well, I didn't have the card the whole year. So of the months that I had the card, I used it all but one. So we'll say if I'd had the card the whole year, I think I would have used it 11 out of 12 times. So that's about $220 back that I got. It also gives a ride share credit of $10 a month. I think I only used that 3 times because I live in a more rural community, don't use ride share except when we travel. So I think I used it 3 times, so that's about 30 bucks, but potentially a person could get up to $120 back. So if you add all that together, the potential return for a person would be $200 on the Delta Stays, $240 on the Resi credit. That would be, what is that, $440. Plus you get another $120 if you use the ride share every month. So $440, that's $560 back on a $650 annual fee. So that's like takes it down to less than $100 a year. But then you got to look at the other benefits. Now, like I said, I only used about $30 of the ride share. I used all but one, so about $220 of the Resi credit, and I used all $200 of the Delta Stays. So my particular use case, I got, let's see, what would that come out to? 200 plus 220, that's $450 is what I got in a return back on that $650 annual fee. So I'm down still about 200 bucks. But then it also gives a boost towards your status. Now, I'm going to discount this down to 0 now. Now, before, I would have thought this is very valuable. It's $2,500 that you get, or 2,500 points, MQDs, towards your status. And it's $5,000 to start off to become silver status. I have had platinum status because of a status match with Delta this year. I'm also Platinum Pro with American. And I can tell you, I'm gonna keep some status with American, although less than I used to. I'm just gonna drop down to platinum, and then I'm gonna stop spending on my card and just use my flying and stuff. And I'm gonna not even worry about it. Even though I'll have platinum all this next year, I'm not gonna worry about it going forward with Delta, because let me tell you, if you fly a lot, you probably noticed this. But in the last 6 months, my upgrades have gone almost to zero. I think I've gotten one upgrade out of like 25 flights in the last 6 months. I don't know what's happening. Way more people with status, I guess. I see pilots riding up front. I'm not disparaging the fact that they have a hard job and they may need that, neither here nor there. But it does mean that we don't get as many upgrades as we used to. So if I'm not getting upgrades, I'm just not gonna worry about it. So why would I even keep this card? Well, I'm discounting that benefit down to almost nothing. So I'm not gonna worry about that. But for some people, if you care a lot about that, then 2,500 MQDs towards your status might be a boost also. But the card, one thing I do care about is that it gives an annual companion certificate. My player 2 and I went to New York City. We do that once or twice a year. She loves to see Broadway plays. So we went for a 2-day trip to New York City. We had a great time, stayed in the Conrad there. And in that trip, we were able to buy one ticket and we got hers for free. So that ticket was about $500. So we got just an absolute benefit of $500. So I was 200 down. Now I'm 300 positive in all of this when you consider that credit. So on top of that though, it gives lounge access to Delta Sky Clubs and American Express Centurion lounges. Now, as I said in my previous video about how many lounges I went to, 102 lounges this year. Included in that was 25 Delta lounges and 4 American Express Centurion lounges and 4 Escape Clubs. So all together, 25 plus 8 is going to be 33 clubs I accessed with this card. Now at $25 a piece, you can do the math. So that is exponential value, over $700 if you figure it at $25 a visit, which I think is a conservative low estimate for what a lounge visit's worth. We got over $700 worth of value on this card just from those lounge visits. So now we're up to about a positive $1,000. So when you factor in all of those different things, am I gonna keep or am I gonna cancel the Delta Reserve? Well, even going forward, not having status on Delta, which won't be true in 25, but probably in 26 or 27, I'm still gonna keep the Delta Reserve. Even if I only fly Delta 4, 5, 6 times a year. I mean, I got over $1,000 in positive value this year, and that's after paying the $650 annual fee. So if you're disciplined about it, make sure you use the credits and you fly enough to make it worth it. Now, let me give one little kind of disclaimer. No longer can you go into Delta Sky Clubs unlimitedly with this card. You're limited to, I think it's 15 visits a year, but those visits are in 24-hour period. So if you went like on departure and then later on your layover, you went and then you went when you arrive, you could theoretically get like 3 for each of those. So if you did that every time, that would be 3 times 15. So that'd be 45 visits. I probably won't use it that much, but still, when it comes to the 15 a year, since I have lounge access in a lot of other ways, I think it's going to be just fine. So I'm not totally concerned about that. The one downside, and the reason I kind of stated earlier in the video I prefer American, is I really, really despise that the card doesn't allow you to take guests into lounges. I think that American Express, all of their cards, whether it's the Platinum or this card or whatever it may be, are major overrated in that people talk about they're the best lounge cards. And yes, they give a lot of lounge access, but just to the card holder. And then you got to pay big bucks or you got to use a guest certificate or whatever to get somebody else in. And that just, I don't know, it just really grinds at me. So I just won't see it as good as the American card where I get to bring myself and 2 guests in unlimited amounts of time. So it's still great. I think this card on paper is probably the best potential to get way outsized value for a big annual fee. And for me, it was over $1,000 this year extra. And I mean, I plan on keeping it. If you think I'm making a mistake, let me know in the comments below. Do you have this card? Are you thinking about getting this card? What do you think about the value? What do you think about the credits? Are they too much to mess with? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you would, please hit the like and subscribe button. And I put up a couple videos here, including the 102 lounges I went to this year. And please watch one of those videos, and we'll see you here next time.